Welcome. I'm Michelle Fontaine for RVing Today. Several months ago, I purchased an e-bike and I love it, so it has to come cross-country with me. We considered several options and the most logical one was putting a hitch receiver on the back of the RV. And my friend, LeQuesne, graciously offered to do this modification for me. So here's Ray with today's story.
Well, looking at the original setup, evaluating it, whether it was going to be strong enough just to put a hitch receiver on the existing bumper, would it be heavy enough? Would it provide enough safety? And after evaluating it, we decided no, it needed to be replaced with a heavier wall 4x4 bumper, as well as the 2x4s right here, one in each side and only a foot long. Increase the wall thickness by 33% on this and as well as this to get that strength that I felt we needed. Doing a project like this, can we improve on the existing setup somehow, some way through location? And that's what we decided. We said, you know, we're gonna have this bumper off, let's pull it out 2 more inches. Provide 2 more inches of here to here. Prior to this, it was set back almost flush with the back of the rig. So we pulled it out 2 inches, and that's considerable. We also added 2 inches to each end. It used to be right here it would end. We added 2 inches, gives you a little bit more protection on your corners. So we incorporated that improvement. Still got a nice little gap between the ladder and the bumper, so everything looks good. In addition to the heavier wall on the material, we added another cross member about 14 inches under here, another cross member across, because we want the hitch to attach at 2 points, not a single point, not good. So we got a 2-point attachment via welding here and back in here. So that's going to give you a good strength. There's a lot of activity back here going down some of these rows. Your assembly is trying to rock back and forth in every direction, and that puts a lot of stress on whatever it's holding it. One of the improvements we incorporated, only to find out at the very end it was not going to work on this bicycle rack, on this e-bike rack. And that is because we don't want anybody to tow a vehicle with this or another trailer. It's not what it was intended for. So we put a vertical pinhole in here that would prevent anybody from throwing a regular receiver in there and a horizontal pin and hooking up to something that's way too heavy for this system. But as we got to the end and we're pretty happy about the way everything came out, then we got to looking at this and how this has a draw-tight system here. You screw that in and it tightens up any play that it has. It's a good idea. It works well. Only problem with us is it interferes with the pin going down in. It's designed for a pin that goes side to side. So, good idea. Can work in some accessory hitches, but this one, vertical pin's not going to work. That's why we got both in there. So that was one of the improvements that we still think it's a good idea, safety-wise. So we're back. We're going to talk about removing the existing bumper. In a day like today, windy, dry, Arizona, big shocker there. Not a good day to be cutting outside with a torch or making sparks. So we did this in a garage and we were good. First thing we do on removal is we get our fire extinguisher ready, we get a garden hose, good pressure, ready to go, set aside, in place. Don't want a fire. Because we're cutting and we're grinding up under here and sparks are going. Also, equally as important, you shut your propane tanks off. Probably already have that done, but make sure they're shut off. and bleed the line. Because there is a line, the remote line comes to the back that you actually have to move out of the way to cut and weld. So got to get that propane system down. Also, to gain access, there's five welds from this piece to the frames. Five small welds, factory welds. And to gain good access, we had to remove the 5/16 self-tappers from the liner right here to get good, be able to get at the welds we need to cut. Lots of room, helps out. All right, so with all that removed, we get under there, we put jack stands on both sides to support it. Get under there with a 4.5-inch grinder and smaller grinder and chisels, and we got it out. Not without a lot of work. It finally come out, we got her out.
From off-the-road adventure camping to luxurious full-time RVing and everything in between, Forest River has the RV to fit your needs, budget, and outdoor lifestyle. To see our full line of trailers and motorhomes, visit forestriverinc.com. Forest River. Begin the journey. At Norcoal, we realize that some of your favorite RV destinations are off the grid. And Norcoal refrigerators are uniquely designed with that RV experience in mind. We call it Freedom Unplugged. To learn more about our Norcoal RV refrigerator line or to find a dealer near you, visit our website at norcoal.com.
Failed to mention, with that cross member, we put it in place with the idea that it's right under the black tank. And we cannot interfere with getting access to the black tank. So we made that cross member removable. It actually bolts on both sides. It bolts with a good grade 8 bolt, 1/2-inch grade 8 bolt. So it's removable if you need to gain access to the black tank. So we have it removed. We cleaned up the frame rails where the new one's going to attach. We got the stabilizers that we took off, and we need to get them as close as we can to the original position. So that's kind of a fit and go as you assemble. So with the underneath prepped, ready to go for the new one to go in, the assembly that we put together, how it's made, how the hitch receiver actually fits into the 4x4. It looks good. Gives you good welding all the way around it. So we got it all tacked together, very lightly tacked together. The arms, the 4x4, the cross member that I was talking about is bolted to each end. You can see it there. So now we're going to roll it under the rig and jack it up and fit it. And if it looks good, we'll put some primer and paint on some certain points that we're not going to be able to get at later. And we're going to remove it, finish welding it up, and get it back under there. So with the bumper securely in place with good welds running the entire length of the of this piece here, which only runs 12 inches, the way it fits perfectly. And now we're looking at the stabilizers. Unfortunately, I don't know if you can tell by the pictures, but the stabilizers actually clamped under the cross member. One leg of the stabilizer clamped under the cross member, which was like, yes, because that's a heavy gauge cross member. It just supplies so much more strength to the original system. So this system is actually, the stabilizer is stronger than original. I know that with certainty. So I was really happy. They're about 2 inches off of where they originally were, but there's no interference. They work fine, and they're stronger. So we're really happy about that part of it. Big question is weight. Always sensitive of weight. Spending weight on safety and things like that is a good value versus adding weight for just a comfort feature that you could do without. Weight for safety is a no-brainer for me. So we took off 50 pounds and we added 98 pounds. So it's a net gain of almost 50 pounds, 7 gallons of water, 6.5, 7 gallons of water, the equivalent of. But you're getting more protection because of the setback. You're getting better protection for your corners, and you can haul 2 e-bikes on that rack with no problem whatsoever. Relocation of the spare tire is the second modification. We no longer want it on the back. So she could carry it in the back of her truck, or we can figure out where to put it. So we looked at it, evaluated, and tried to come up with clever ideas, practical ways of doing it. And her Tacoma, her spare tire mounts right here in the back, like a lot of pickup trucks do, I think most do. And you gain access by taking the tool supplied by Toyota in through somewhere down here is an insert, and you lower your tire. Well, that device that lowers the tire is a easily obtainable replacement part, not only from Toyota but from other places, and they're not that expensive, and they work really slick. So we're gonna get one of those, brand new, and we're gonna mount it under here. And she'll be able to use the same tool for her truck as her tire. But first she's going to try to call the tire people to come save her, but sometimes that's not going to happen. We're going to need to install a couple of more cross members, and they're probably going to be on the scale of angle iron 1.5 by 1/8 inch. Give you an idea of what kind of material we're talking about, not big stuff. Over the top, and that's where that device I was telling you about is going to mount. That's when it actually lowers and raises the tire. It's going to mount on those 2 cross members, and she'll gain access from probably right under here, and so it'll all be the same. Yeah, it's going to be about 50 extra pounds, so actually that's going to offset the 50 you gain back there. And it's going to transfer it here, so that's almost going to even out, but it's going to be a little bit more weight here because your wheelbase center is not halfway down the rig, it's more towards the back. So 50 pounds back there would be the equivalent of maybe 40 pounds here because of the location of the axle, weight distribution. So, but we're down to 10, 20 pounds difference, so move some pots and pans around.
Thanks so much, Ray. Well, the bike is in place and covered with a heavy-duty bike cover. This is Michelle Fontaine of RVing Today, wishing you safe travels, and maybe I'll see you on the road.